The state of Biafra seceded from Nigeria in 1967, and this sparked the Nigerian Civil War. It eventually got foreign nations involved, but the war ultimately ended in 1970 at the cost of over 2 million lives. This is a dark chapter in Nigerian history, and no other state has planned on leaving Nigeria since then. But what if for some reason, today, Lagos decided to break away from Nigeria? What would happen, and how effective would it be? This is what we'll discuss today on Green Click. By the way, be a friend and subscribe. Share and like to help us make more videos you love about our great country. Let's dive in. Lagos is a mega city with significant financial power in Africa. It is the most populous city with a population growth of 85 people per hour. It is safe to say that Lagos is a place most people would love to live, as it has its own ecosystem. Lagos separating from Nigeria would generate more questions than answers, but the immediate impact would be the economic loss Nigeria would face. Lagos is the financial powerhouse of Nigeria, and losing Lagos would decrease the GDP of Nigeria. In turn, Lagos would also lose the wealth it previously received from crude oil, as the Niger Delta would stay a property of Nigeria. Lagos would have to create its own flag. It would also have to create its own national anthem, coat of arms, and even the pledge. Lagos would also have to be recognized by the world as an independent country. However, the influx of foreign investors would improve Lagos. Lagos leaving Nigeria would probably keep its name, but it would probably not keep the naira. When it comes to human relations, it would take forever to determine who would be a citizen of Lagos. If you were living in Lagos a year before it gained independence, would that make you a citizen of Lagos? If your parents were from Lagos, but you lived in Abeokuta most of your life, would you be considered a citizen of Lagos? What would determine a person a first class or a second class citizen? Lagos would also become a highly populated country, making Nigeria not the most populated country in Africa anymore. Nigeria would not lose a significant amount of land. However, living in the country of Lagos would certainly feel cramped, as it is filled with people on land and water. It is also generally a concrete jungle. The national language will probably remain English, even though the Yoruba would constitute as a majority group in the country of Lagos. Politically, how would the presidency work? Would the current governor of Lagos suddenly be the head of state? Will APP and PDP exist in the country of Lagos? How will its relationship be with Nigeria, as there would probably be border tensions for years? Would Nigerians need a visa to enter Lagos, and how would it be vice versa? Would Nigeria and Lagos be friends when it comes to trade? What would the country of Lagos trade? Materials or service? At the end of the day, Lagos would struggle to get on its feet initially, but as time went on, due to its ability to control a small country, it would eventually become the most significant African country. Lagos would have more money to spend on its basic necessities of life, like electricity, water, transportation, and security. As mentioned earlier, foreign investors would attract better jobs. The already busy seaports would not slow down in activity, increasing whatever trade Lagos might be involved in as an independent nation. But relax, the good news is Lagos is not going anywhere. Lagos needs Nigeria just as much as Nigeria needs Lagos. The Third Mainland Bridge is an important vein in Lagos, Nigeria. It was the longest bridge in Africa until 1996, when the 6th October Bridge was completed. It is an understatement to say that the bridge is important in connecting Lagos mainland to the Lagos island. So, what if the Third Mainland Bridge collapsed? How would Lagos and Nigeria react to this? That is what we'll talk about today on Green Click. By the way, be a friend and hit the like button to help us make more videos you love about our amazing continent. Let's dive in. The bridge is 11.8 kilometers and its actual name is the IBB Bridge, the Ibrahim Babangida Bridge. However, most people call it the Third Mainland Bridge because it is the third bridge that connects Lagos mainland to the Lagos island, along with Eko and Kata bridges. In the last study done in 2002, about 902,000 cars crossed the bridge daily. But one should assume that since then, the amount of cars must have tripled to about 500,000 cars. I mean, we're talking about a city that gains 85 new residents per hour. Traffic jams are said to add 2 to 5 hours to your commute, especially around the 5:30 p.m. mark. But if you were to ride freely on the bridge, it would take 5 to 10 minutes to get across it. If you are someone who loves scenery, you might enjoy what you see when you look out from the bridge. To the west, you will see Lagos University and Makoko, a shanty town where all houses are on water, while turning to the east you will see the never-ending horizon of the Lagos Lagoon. There have been rumblings throughout the last 20 years about the bridge being unable to hold up the daily traffic that adorns it. Some of the rumblings have resulted in the bridge being renovated, while some other results include the government assuring the public that all is well with the bridge. So what would happen if the bridge collapsed? We can only answer this in two scenarios. The first would be the bridge collapsing due to poor maintenance. See, the bridge has interlocked members, and that is why sometimes one could feel a slight shake whenever driving on any bridge. These interlocked members are connected by expansion joints. If these joints were to unjoin, well, let's say the result could be cataclysmic. If the bridge collapsed during the rush hour period of a weekday, especially a Monday or a Friday, we could see thousands of cars crash into the Lagos Lagoon, with the deepest part of the lagoon being roughly 13 feet or 4 meters deep, and a fall of about 30 feet at the bridge's peak. Victims of the accident will drown if they are not killed by the impact of the cars falling into the water beneath. The Nigerian response team is not an adequate one already, so organizing a rescue mission would be painfully difficult for the Nigerian government to implement, as boats and helicopters would be needed to rescue victims of the accident. Forget about ambulances trying to get through the traffic of panicking commuters. The second scenario would be if the bridge collapsed as a result of an attack. Just like before, cars would plunge into the water. However, the introduction of fire would add more chaos to the scenario. If an explosion happened on the bridge, out of panic, passengers stuck with no other place to flee would jump into the lagoon below. In response, the governor of Lagos and then the president of Nigeria would have to address the nation and assure families of lost ones that the human loss would not be in vain. If a person or a party claimed responsibility for this attack, punishment, if detained, would be severe because this event would become international news, especially since it happened in probably the most prominent city in Africa. Security on the bridge is not properly executed, as there have been many suicide attempts on the bridge in recent history. If you have reached this stage of the video, we would like to thank you for sharing your time with us. But comment below if you think Lagos needs a new bridge.
Also known as Hushpuppi, is a Nigerian millionaire that was arrested in the month of June and is accused of conspiring to launder hundreds of millions of dollars through cybercrime schemes. He was recently denied bail because he, and I quote, posed too much of a flight risk. Ultimately, he is still in custody and is awaiting a trial that will take place in California. Things are not looking so great right now for Hushpuppi, so we have to ask, what will happen if Hushpuppi is found guilty? How drastic would the effect be on his life and those connected to him? That is what we'll discuss today on Green Click. By the way, be a friend and subscribe, click the notification button to get alerts, and like the video to help us make more videos we love about our amazing continent. Let's dive in. Now, Mr. Abbas is said to be about 37 years old, and not much is known about his life. He was born and raised in Nigeria, but eventually moved to Malaysia. Most sources mention that around this time is when he started to acquire wealth. The Enigma has a following of over 2.5 million people on its Instagram account, and he is not shy to flaunt his lavish lifestyle. He's usually showing his expensive collection of cars, from Rolls-Royce and Maybachs, tailored specifically for him. He also has watches that most men would dream to have, like Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet. When it comes to fashion, Hushpuppi seems to have a particular liking towards Gucci. However, you will occasionally see him wearing Fendi and Louis Vuitton fabrics. Private jets and helicopters are also other forms of transportation that Hushpuppi is not timid to disclose on his public Instagram account, as he shows his many destinations around the world. A socialite life will bring celebrity friends, and Hushpuppi has shown that he has met the likes of football players, artists like Wizkid, and even Salt Bae himself. It is not a surprise to see that the display of this lifestyle could attract law enforcement or create envy among onlookers, while others may see this as inspiration. But the mystery here is no one knows where he acquired his wealth from or how he sustains this amount of wealth that he has. According to his Instagram account, he is a real estate developer. But recently, his attorney spoke out mentioning that Hushpuppi's wealth is derived from being a brand advertiser. Whichever way, his estimated and assumed net worth sits at $20 million US. No wonder you can pay $10,000 rent a month. So what will happen if Mr. Abbas is found guilty? For one, the charges against him are hefty, and if convicted, things will definitely go sour for Mr. Abbas. When arrested and his home was stripped, the Dubai police claimed to have seized nearly $41 million, 13 luxury cars worth $6.8 million, and phone and computer evidence containing more than 100,000 fraud files, and the addresses of nearly 2 million possible victims. Furthermore, prosecutors claim he attempted to launder over $124 million from an English team, defrauded a law firm of almost $1 million, and attempted to hijack $14 million from a foreign national institution. If found guilty, Hushpuppi will face some time in jail, and since he did not commit a murder, he won't be in jail for life or be on the horizon of the death penalty. However, according to the US justice system, he would face up to a maximum of 20 years. Parole may not even be an option. This result would further damage the reputation Nigerians have of being internet scammers, especially when this is coming off the heels of 2019's bust of over 80 scammers, of whom most were Nigerians. Over $1.7 billion in 2019 alone was lost from America by online scams, and Nigerians will always be the guinea pigs, even though other nations participate in it. If convicted, most of the celebrities that had a form of interaction with Hushpuppi would most likely want to distance themselves from him, as his reputation would be tarnished. Ramon would have a criminal record attached to him for the rest of his life, even when he gets out of jail, and most likely would be immediately deported to Nigeria at almost 60 years old. It would be difficult to rebuild one's life at that stage, and practically in a new country. This will cause mental anguish and heartache, as most of his midlife would be spent behind bars. He would lose all his assets and would have to find a way to get his life back together at such a late stage. He is a father, and one can only imagine how this would affect his children and the remainder of his family. Even though things are not looking so great, we are hoping that the source of his wealth is legal and he can put all this behind him and come out of this situation a stronger person. So what is your take on Hushpuppi's situation? Is he a Yahoo boy, or is he a result of a trust fund? We would love
Nigeria
to hear
was
your
given
thoughts.
its name by journalist Flora Shaw in the 1890s after the Niger River, and it has been recognized as the name of the West African country, especially since gaining independence in 1960. However, recently the House of Representatives of Nigeria proposed a change of the country's name to UAR, the United African Republic, or United Alkebulan Republic. It has mostly gained hilarious responses, but what if the proposal was approved and the country of Nigeria changed its name to the United African Republic? That is what we'll discuss today on Africa Assemble. By the way, be a friend and subscribe, click the notification button to never miss our videos, and like the video to help us make more content you love about our awesome continent. Let's dive in. Adele Ejokutoye on June 2nd submitted a proposal for the name change, stating, "At this crossroads in our history, it is mandatory that we change our name to reflect a new beginning, which will be ushered in with a new constitution." As of the time of this recording, the decision is still pending. However, this has gotten most Nigerians criticizing the slightest idea of a name change to a country they have known their whole lives. One can only imagine the lasting effects of changing a country's name. In the case of Nigeria, many identifying tools would have to change, like the currency, passports, license plates, and the IDs. Institutional names like the Central Bank of Nigeria or the University of Nigeria would have to change their names as well. The army, police force, government websites, and part of the constitution would have to be modified to reflect the name change. UAR would also have to register its name with the United Nations, the Commonwealth, and the African Union, among other bodies they are part of. Even if the name change proposal was passed, the government would most likely have to get approval from the citizens of Nigeria, locally and abroad, most likely through a voting system. It is safe to say the process would be time-consuming and expensive. But would everyone accept the name change? How would Nigerians themselves react to this? If they would not be Nigerians anymore, would they be called African Republicans? And as Nigerians brand everything from Naija music, Naija food to saying Omo Naija, how would they incorporate the new name into their daily use of conversations and identity? The current reactions of many Nigerians vary from silly responses to those mentioning that there are more important issues Nigeria has to fix than changing a name. As for the world, not much can be said, as it would just be a part of a daily news. Nigeria is a very recognizable African country, hence the change would be recognized by the world. However, it would not be a surprise to see some people mistake the UAR with the UAE in the Middle East. Foreign governing bodies would have to change the new country name in their database, and neighboring countries would have to modify their road signs leading travelers to UAR. At the end of the day, it is understandable that the name Nigeria was given by someone who was not Nigerian in the first place, but Nigeria is more than a tag to a country. As there are three very distinct tribes that break out into many more subgroups, the strength and identity of Nigeria lies not in its name, but in its rich history before and after the name was suggested. In conclusion, changing the name of Nigeria to UAR would bring an ascent to a whole change to the country, and it would be stressful, time-consuming, and expensive to complete all the tasks. Yet in a distant future, it will be embraced and relegated to a point in history books mostly overlooked. Now we turn the question to you. What do you think of the proposed name change? Would you accept it as a Nigerian? Share this with a friend and drop a comment if you disagree or would like to request a video. Till then, brothers and sisters, have a nice day.